Nova Scotia's EMO asked to use the hall as a registration centre for residents of Portapique who had fled their homes.
For residents of Portapique who had fled their homes.
An RCMP officer was posted here in a cruiser. By this time, police were on the hunt for the shooter, who they knew was impersonating a police officer. At 10:30 a.m., 2 RCMP officers fired multiple shots outside the hall. Sources have told CTV News the officers thought they were firing at the suspect when it was in fact a fellow Mountie.
This program is brought to you in part by...
Why don't you get yourself some turned-down collars, Poirot? They're much more the thing, you know.
The thing, Hastings? Do you think Poirot concerns himself with mere thingness?
No, I see that.
The turned-down collar is the first symptom of decay of the grey cells.
You know, I just think if people keep pushing, I can't, first of all, thank enough all of the hard work. There's 3 fellow YouTubers who are working very, very hard with me on this one. Rage in the Cage, Steve LTT, and Just My Stupid Opinion. Just plugging them, sorry. But they are fantastic guys, really been busting their humps here. And, you know, stepping up to the plate, because there's a certain amount of risk saying certain things. And also, likewise, all of the people are volunteering information and time, which, like I said, over on the Discord, or sending me anonymously information. It is fantastic.
Hitters! My man! I miss you. I haven't talked to you in a little bit. We'll catch up. All right. Afternoon. Karen, Nova Scotia guy. We have to talk to at some point. Todd, what's going on? Blue Nose, Point Fire, Craig, Dude and Dudettes. I'm more East Coast now. You can't be using those words. That's too westernized. Peekaboo. What's going on? Ms. Fox, Frenchtons, Loretta Enge. Much love. Okay, so I think probably all of you may be aware of the article that came out, but if not, we're going to share it. I will preface it by saying that sadly, some of the details that we're going to be talking about a little bit may not be for everybody's. They're just tragic, right? So be advised that if that's going to be triggering for you, that's probably best not to watch. And I'm going to be respectful as much as I can. Tammy, green bastard. Am I going to need gin? Of course. You always need the gin, don't you? I need the coffee, but you need the gin. Good to see you. Go grab yourself a gin. Have you got it? Bottle or glass. Yeah, there you go. Phew, I don't know. Craziness just going on. Yeah, it's absolutely heart-wrenching. Okay, so we'll go through the article. We'll talk about a couple of things. I'll bring up some other articles. And Rick, yo, Rick. Body of Nova Scotia shooting victim allegedly transported by tow truck. Okay, we've discussed this a little bit before. This isn't news, I think, sadly, to some of us over here, but it's getting mainstream now. Good. Sad, very tragic that these things are happening. A lot of gory details, but I think it's important to show the absolute hypocrisy that is going on here and how the RCMP have treated people in this story. Very sad. Nova Scotia shooting victim allegedly transported by tow truck. Okay. I don't know if it's worth going through this video, but perhaps we will. The body of Nova Scotia shooting victim was allegedly transported from the crime scene by a tow truck while still inside his vehicle. His vehicle. Well, that's an interesting way. I haven't read through the article, so I'm just sharing this with you at the same time. It's still inside his vehicle. That wasn't what we were told, was it? I don't think so. I think the idea was that that might have been in the car. So who's in the car? Uh-oh. According to an amended version of a proposed class action lawsuit filed against the RCMP, the federal government, and the province. Excellent. Keep it coming. Let's expose this stuff. Sad. But this may be how we're going to get the answers. The RCMP, quote, the RCMP allowed a deceased victim's body to remain in a vehicle while said vehicle was towed from the crime scene to be collected and analyzed as evidence rather than ensuring the body was first removed and cared for. This is the appropriate part here. Cared for in an appropriate manner before the vehicle was seized, the amended lawsuit claims. The claim does not identify the victim by name. However, the two lawyers who represent victims of the shooting spree, and victims' families told Global News the body is that of Joey Weber, 36-year-old man who was killed by the gunman reportedly who had stopped to assist RCMP Constable Heidi Stevenson after she was attacked. Yes. That's why I had an issue with the way that was phrased. Rather interesting. In his vehicle. Was this just a typo? Because that's what my understanding was that he was in the cop car. Joey Weber's family is deeply troubled by how his body was treated, said the family's lawyer, Sandra McCulloch. There goes my pronunciation. Balls. Weber was one of 23 people killed in the 13-hour shooting spree on the weekend of April 18th and 19th. Robert Pineo, the second lawyer involved in the class action lawsuit, told Global News the Weber family received information from the public. That showed Weber's body was transported by a tow truck from the crime scene near Shubenacadie. Excuse me. From the public. I love those people who are brave and come forward, because the RCMP is not going to tell you nothing. Pineo said the RCMP had not informed the family of these details before they were contacted by members of the public. Oh my God. Quote, they received videos and photographs from just regular citizens that show Joey Weber's body was left in the car for 8 or 9 hours and then transported by tow truck. They're almost inconsolable over that. Wow. Just wow. There we have Harry Bond. I think this is an excellent thing to piece to listen to. So why don't we listen to Harry? After the ad is done. Sorry, I guess you guys are probably getting that audio on the ad. My apologies. My apologies. Oh, you want to buy a Ford truck? No, nobody wants to buy your truck. I love Ford.
We hear from you, it's hurtful. It's you don't know what to believe when you watch them on the news they have 4 or 5 different interviews at different times, and every interview they have, their words are different. They're stabbing themselves in the back, two-facing themselves. You wonder, well, what the hell it is they're hiding and what they're not telling, because everybody can see it. If you're telling the truth, your story's not going to change. Their stories do change, so they're lying. It's You watch their body language, you can tell they're lying. It's not right.
I have a lot of respect for that man. A lot of respect. McCulloch and Pineo are representing Tyler Blair, Andrew O'Brien, who are named as lead plaintiffs in the proposed class action case. Okay, we got to also understand that the vast majority of families at this point in time are suing the RCMP. Not very many people, families happy with them, to my understanding. Blair's father, Greg, and stepmother, Jamie, were killed in Portapique. Or O'Brien's wife, Heather, was killed in DeBert. Police have received widespread criticism for their response to the shootings, including claims from victims' family members contained in class action lawsuit that they misled the public about what really happened. Misleading anybody obviously is terrible. Let's talk about the misleading of the families here. Okay? Unbelievably atrocious. The proposed class action dispute earlier claims made by the RCMP in June. Disputes. Do you know what's that code word for? Lying. More lying. When investigators said the gunman did not use his RCMP replica to pull over any of his victims. Right? I mean, this was a no-brainer. We were talking about that right when they said it. How do you pull somebody over without the car? What does he get out of the car? He leaves the car back there. He walks forward, pulls people over, and then somehow his car gets over here. No, not sensical, not logical. They just assume everybody's stupid. Unbelievably horrible. According to the lawsuit, around 10:08 on Sunday, April 19th, Heather O'Brien was stopped by the gunman as he posed for the as a police officer and shot and killed her in her car. Global News asked the RCMP detailed questions about the allegations. Are you going to guess what they're going to say? Contained in the amended lawsuit about Weber's body and claims raised by Pineo. The included questions about whether the allegations were true, how long Weber's body remained in the vehicle, and why the family was not notified of any of these details, but was not notified of these details by police. You know, the people who you pay, who they paid to take care of their families. The RCMP, there we go. The RCMP did not respond to any of these questions. Unbelievable. RCMP cowards. That's great. That's great. Dave, you're absolutely spot on. Spot on. And I see somebody in here. Interesting. Very nice of you to join us. The force also declined multiple requests for an interview. I want my underwear back. I know I keep saying it. All these people should be taking all of their money, all these white shirt bastards at the top, all of their money, all of everything they have, and be giving it to the families with a gigantic apology. And perhaps, maybe, go in debt. Then they can learn their lesson. We're not going to take this anymore from them. The force also declined multiple requests. Awesome, these people. Quote, there was no communication, Pinot said. So the Weber family were rightly left with the impression that nobody cared and that they paraded his body around central Nova Scotia. And that's just ridiculous. The bonds. None of the defendants named in the lawsuit, including the RCMP and the federal provincial governments, have submitted responses to class action lawsuits. Official responses to claims in the proposed class action lawsuits are not required until the class action is certified by a judge. Oh, I see this one. They're going to fight it. We were talking about it, was it yesterday, the day before? They're going to fight to get this not certified. Say it's not a valid claim. No, we don't have to pay. We didn't do anything wrong here. We just lie. We don't tell you anything. It's all good. We get judges who are helpful to us. Somebody want to answer me one day as to Justice Bergerman, if I got that right, how he disappeared from the scene. Very curious. The process is not automatic and can be contested by the government. The RCMP has previously said that in its initial remarks about the gunman pulling over was not correct, and that witness statements and changes to how police interpreted. Oh, this was the inventing and fabricating of stories to cover their own ass. Hello, Kendall. Hello. These statements have since left them with convinced that there was no one pulled over by the gunman while he was driving in his replica police car. Do you know that this is always interesting, because they go back and then they say, well, you know what, we've reinterpreted things. We've heard things. And so now we're going to say, well, he was driving through a field at 10:35. Don't you know? Don't you know we reinterpreted things and he didn't pull anybody over? See? Whole thing, I'm telling you, the whole thing is rife with lies. I'm going to say 90%. Other new allegations. The amended statement of claim filed in the Supreme Court of Nova Scotia on Tuesday, praying for a good judge, formally added the province's Attorney General as defendant in the case. Ooh, wow. Bringing out the guns. Sue them all. Sue the pension. Sue the pension. Sue the insurance company for the pension. Sue them all. The delay in adding the province to the claim, originally filed June 16th, is because the rules that require the province to be given 60 days notice before any legal action is taken against it. Oh, so they can have a little jump start on their defense, don't you know? According to the amended claim, the RCMP, quote, failed to employ the emergency response team, ART, when it ought to have done so during the shooting spree. When such a team was deployed, it was done so in a manner that was unlikely to have located and contained the gunman. The claim reads, the claim also alleges that the RCMP failed to use all resources available to it to track and stop the gunman. This includes a helicopter capable of conducting both nighttime and daytime searches of the land and forested areas in and around Portapique and neighboring communities where the gunman may have been hiding, the claim reads. Now, I have read claims, heard people's statements saying that there was a helicopter in the morning down in Portapique. Did it come from Nova Scotia? Were the claims wrong? Not exactly sure, but just something to make note of, because there was the interview from the person, CBC, very early on, the same interview with Tom Taggart. Councillor Tom Taggart was in, and the man said, oh, we awoke to helicopters flying over us. I believe also Clinton may have referred to that. I'm not exactly sure, but something may be worth checking out. The claim also alleges the RCMP failed to use, my apologies. Another class action lawsuit. Good, just so we can pay more money. Pay the RCMP, pay for the failure to do anything right, not just failure, just to cover up their own shit. Because that's what happened. As soon as the first phone call came, 911, they got it figured out. That went straight to Ottawa. War room, immediate action. Chess moves. Another new allegation contained in the claim is that the witness informed the RCMP shortly after they arrived in Portapique on the evening, April 18th, that the gunman was driving what appeared to be a police car like those the RCMP members arrived on scene. Now, these are not surprises to anybody here who's been following any of this at all, but I'm glad they're getting out in the mainstream media. The witness described in the claim was an unnamed victim who was shot by the gunman. I think most of us know who that is. And also he believed that the shooter was Gabe, who owned property in the area. So they knew, once again, this is not news. Those are contained in basically in the search warrants, wherever I've got those filed off somewhere, amongst papers everywhere. Anyway, not news, right? It was in the search warrants. It said right there, boom. The guy, the individual who I will not name, said that it was Gabriel Wortman. He was in a police car, and here's who you're looking for. And he shot me. Global News asked the RCMP if any of these new allegations were true. We got a response from DERP. RCMP Corporal Jennifer Clark said, police only learned the gunman was driving a fully marked police car and was wearing a replica police uniform at 6:30 on Sunday, April 19th, after a witness. We know who this is. Later revealed to be ex-partner. Of course, they don't want to name it in the media. Why? Why do we not want to talk about this person in the media? Very strange. If we told you that, that would defeat the purpose of the program. Call 911 with this information. Now, let's see here. I believe I may have a quote from the RCMP on that one during one of their press conferences. Possible. May take me a few minutes to find, though. Give me a moment. Let's see here. Let's see here. Where was that? On the 28th, witness indicated to us that it was the gunman. It's also in the warrants, so lied to the public, lied in the warrant, he didn't lie in the warrants, funnily enough. Where was that? Not pulling over. Here we go. Here's the not pulling over police vehicles. We can listen to that one.
I just want to clarify your comment today, Superintendent Campbell, that you don't believe the gunman was using the RCMP replica cruiser to pull over any of the victims. I'm looking at a transcript here from your news conference on April 24th. This is a quote. Where you said a witness described that the suspect had pulled over one of the vehicles and then shot one of the drivers. So can you clarify why you said that at that time and what the reality actually is?
So the reality is that investigations, people give us information and that information is interpreted. And that was the interpretation of the information at that time. Since that time, it's been confirmed through the investigative team that the eyewitnesses at the scene do not describe that the gunman was pulling over any vehicles. We do know what the details, what those details are that surround those interactions between the gunman and the victims in that area. Again, for the sake of not traumatizing the families, to be able to just.
Oh my God! There we go with the lion shield. Did you just see it? Did you just see what he did? The victims' families. We don't want to traumatize them. What the fuck have you been doing the entire time? This man has no conscience. Sold his soul. No matter where he goes in this country, no matter where he goes in this country, his face is known. He's a liar. He'll never live it down. Because nobody who has a soul left inside of them will look at that man and say, you're an honest person. You have morals. Don't use the Hitler defense. Don't. No, he's happy lying to everybody. Happy.
Describe that would not be appropriate. But I'm very confident and I'm convinced, based on that witness information, that the gunman was not pulling over vehicles.
Well, what did he use? I always used to use that expression when he first said that. 24th and the 28th are very interesting videos. Very interesting. Details getting changed between them. And I used to, I believe it was the 28th. This was this one. And I said, what did he use? A broom, sir? What did he use? A broom. Use that broom, pull people over. Then he flies back to his car, drops the broom off, gets in his car and drives on. Bullshit. Bullshit. Okay, now I do have another clip, possibly where he may say something once again. Let's see, where was that? Okay, here we go.
Officers.
Okay, I love having records.
Arrived on scene at 10:26 in the evening, where they located a male who was leaving the area with an apparent gunshot wound. They learned that this male was shot while driving his vehicle, and the victim indicated that a vehicle had driven by him while he was driving, and that he was shot as the vehicle was passing by. He did describe this vehicle as a vehicle that looked like a police vehicle.
What did it say in that article? They didn't know until 6:30 in the morning? Oh, You lied again. Liar. Evil. Liar! You're never going to be able to show your face in this country again in public. I'm not saying anybody do anything to this man. Obviously, nothing. Just be able to look at him and know he's a liar. Let him know he's a liar. No, sorry, you're a disgusting individual. I don't want my children looking at you. You are a very poor example of a human being and don't even deserve the title of man. Yeah, that's fine. Terrible. Revealed the ex-partner. No, yes, it was because of that, right? Oh, so Corporal Derp lied just recently. That's a lie. That's a lie compared to the warrants. That's a lie compared to Darren Campbell's own statement. I haven't even got through half the article yet. Let's continue. The RCMP has previously said the ERT team was deployed to assist the manhunt. It was a member of this team that killed the gunman, 51-year-old denturist Gabriel Wortman, a gas station near Enfield on the morning of Nova Scotia in the morning, April 19th. One tactical unit. Not all those press, not all those cars. The RCMP have also disclosed that a helicopter provided by the Nova Scotia Department of Lands and Forestry was used in the search of the gunman. However, the force did not respond to questions about Global News about what time the helicopter was first deployed. Do you know how they get to use that? Hello, Angela. Man, Nova Scotia. Oh, yes, that's right. We have the labs here. The RCMP. We control the lab. No, actually, it's my fucking lab. You don't control nothing. In the court documents released in May, the RCMP described an interaction between police who first responded to 911 calls at Portapique April 18th and an unnamed witness who said he was shot by the gunman. Well, that was the statement we just listened to. According to the documents were created by the RCMP, in order to obtain the search warrants of the gunman's property, the witness told the RCMP the shooter was driving a police car, but no further details or descriptions of the car were included in the documents. Some portions of this section, were also redacted. Give me one moment, please, here. Perhaps somebody that's on the inside can let me know. I do know this actually kind of. Oh, is it going to load? Oops. Try again. No. Try feed. What does that mean? I don't even know. One moment, please. Mike Butcher, Senior Disclosure Analyst, and so much more with RCMP Crime Division, E Division, not H Division. Who is Mike Butcher? Senior Disclosure Analyst. Does that have something to do with redactions, possibly? Maybe. Mike Butcher, 1975, worked in a variety of functions. Oh, he's been around. He's been around. He's been around. Now, let's try Mike Butcher, Nova Scotia. Oh, this is shocking. Did you just see this? Would it be that Lee Bergerman, the head of the RCMP in Nova Scotia, is married to a senior disclosure analyst, Mike Butcher? And he resides in E Division? No. He resides in H Division. How is that? Does he have any relation to this case? I don't know. Just saying. As Slippin used to say, or still does. The police car came up from behind them and pulled alongside them, the court document said. Redacted. Where's my Sharpie? I want all my Sharpies back, too. Perhaps we can give them to children around the world, and they can draw nice diagrams for us, instead of scribbling out things that are legally my property, legally the family's property, legally your property. Buy shares and Sharpies. Yeah. Redacted. Noted the driver of the police car had a firearm, redacted, and shot them. Oh, maybe they actually had the clip. Well, damn you, I already have it too, so I'll save you your homework. During an April 24th press conference, RCMP Superintendent Darren Campbell said unnamed witness told the gunman was driving a vehicle that looked like a police car. Campbell lied in front of everybody. Again. He should be named in the suit. He should be named personally liable. Liable! Campbell also said the police confirmed the gunman owned several vehicles that looked like police cars. Well, that's tough. You can go to a Google Earth image and you can literally see them parked outside the warehouse. Derp. I'm glad I'm, spending all these billions of dollars on me, on these services that can't even get their ass and a hole in the wall figured out. They don't know anything, but they do. That's the sad part. They do. Don't ever ascribe this to incompetence. They want you to do that. They're totally competent. They've made these decisions knowingly. The whole entire time. When the RCMP visited the gunman's Portapique home on the evening of April 18th, they found it entirely engulfed in flames, Campbell said. At the home, they also found 2 burning Ford Taurus vehicles, believed to be old police cars. Campbell said a police background check search revealed the gunman owned 3 licensed Ford vehicles that were probably old police cars. In addition to 2 burning outside the gunman's homes, police located a 3rd licensed vehicle inside Wortman's Halifax residence. Now, should I read or because I haven't read this, so I could see if we can. That was that. I like how they selectively quoted in Global and Globe and Mail the same stuff, but anyways. Let's see. Oh, maybe they're burying that article. Why do I not have it readily available? They don't want to show you. What was his name? What was his name? Anybody want to help me out? I'm looking for the name of, not Nathan Staples, the name of the fellow who said the girlfriend was driving the car. Actually, I can get it this way probably. I'll get it from a different article. And then we can do back search. Okay. No, I don't want to buy your subscription. Just so you're not getting bored. You can watch me scroll. I think it's in here. It's definitely in the Globe Mail. Oh, yeah. Because that's not an ex-police cruiser. No. Oh. Seeing these pictures not making me very happy. There we go, Mr. Walker. No. Where was it? Oh, yes. God, I could start going down that road with you. I'm going to have to. Going to have to start blowing some bigger things out here soon. Where was it here? Mr. Wortman, Denture Clinic, Neighbors, Record Show, Nathan Staples, Billy Swimner. There we go. Y'all know Billy Swimner? Let's search Billy Swimner. Police car. Girlfriend. Must include. Oh, balls on her face. Was in the Chronicle Herald, was it? Okay, I'll come back to that later. But I definitely have it in my files. But Billy Swimner said to the Chronicle Herald, I believe it could have been the Halifax Examiner, but he said that the girlfriend drove the car. the girlfriend drove the car. It was common knowledge. She was driving it around all over the place. Everybody knew. Donald Walker knew. The funeral home man, he knew all about the car. Gabe bragged about the car. He even said the RCMP talked to him. Apparently, Mr. Wortman talked to the RCMP, and they're like, "Oh, okay, just don't drive it around on the road. We don't have any problem with that BS." At this point, Campbell said the officers responsible for the investigation believed that they had located all of the police lookalike vehicles. Is that the one that your own officers, according to Donald Walker, who saw the real police cruiser, fully equipped police cruiser, Don Walker? Not the ghost car things that people buy with wires hanging out. The RCMP also considered the possibility that the gunman had committed suicide and that his body was still inside a burning home. Was that Lily? Staff Sergeant Lily. We were sent home. Sergeant Lily. Sent home. Or to pick. Open mail. Oh, come on. Why? Fuck off with your stupid stuff. Here we go. Doodaloo. Do. Find. Lily. Oh. What the? Okay. RCMP Sergeant Dave Lilly's voice cracks with emotion. Stands on the gravel shoulder of Highway 4. I wonder how much trouble he got in for saying some of this stuff. On Friday, ahead of the online vigil, to remember the 23 people who were killed in the rampage, Sergeant Lilly and his wife drove to some of the roadside memorials that have sprouted up to honor victims. 23-year veteran. 23-year veteran. Quote, "We feel guilty. We wish we could have done more," he said, dressed in his formal uniform of red serge tunic and Stetson. Any of us would have taken a bullet for these victims. The rampage, which spanned 90 kilometers in rural Nova Scotia and went on for more than 13 hours, began after the gunman, 51-year-old denturist Gabriel Wortman, is moving along Port-a-Pic, where he owned a cottage. When the RCMP arrived at 10:26, April 18th, they found people dead and several homes engulfed in flames. Inside some of the homes, they also found more victims. Sergeant Lilly drove the children of Lisa McCauley, one of the victims of Port-a-Pic, to a nearby hospital. When he returned, perimeter had been set up on the beachfront community to contain the area. At that point, RCMP said that they knew who they were looking for. They knew the gunman had a pistol and long-barreled guns. I like these nondescript things. His home and garages were ablaze, and the two of his replica cars and another vehicle. They thought that they had the scene contained, Sergeant Lilly said. Really? Sounds very contained. So he and some of his colleagues headed home. Around 6:30 or 7 a.m. Quote, "A lot of us broke off and went home after an exhausting night," he said. "I went to bed thinking he was gone and finished and contained. And I would have known, if I would have known that the shooter was still at large, I would have stayed out and continued looking, but we didn't know. We tried our best, and we're feeling guilty that we sort of failed. I appreciate this man a lot for being very, very honest and forthcoming. I'm not sure how much shit he got in for saying this, but I also don't like some of the language used. And I'm sure he does feel very guilty. Maybe he is an extraordinarily good man. Maybe he was one of the ones that went in, didn't do the FIDO. Wouldn't you want to know that he was dead, though? Would be my question. Wouldn't you want to know? They thought they had the gunman contained, so we'll just send people home. Or perhaps you can go and get coffee and sandwiches and wake people up for them, right? Do you remember that too? Waking up people, coffee, sandwiches. Or Clinton saying you had more people in Great Village than you knew what to do with. And yet nobody's at the end of the road. Nobody's doing anything. As I sat in there freezing my ass off. Now, let's continue with RCMP respect. How do we go here? Okay, again, please be forewarned. Police return vehicles with human remains inside to families of Nova Scotia shooting victims alleged. Tyler Blair and Andrew O'Brien leading proposed class action lawsuit, RCMP, provincial government. Sue pants off everybody. RCMP, insurance, pensions, name some people. Let's get some names down there. I like naming people in lawsuits. I love it. They shit their pants, man. Of course, it's probably going to be our dime that's covering their defense funds. Personally. 2 families of victims, Nova Scotia mass shooting, are launching a proposed class action lawsuit against the RCMP that questions not just how the force handled the rampage, but its actions in the weeks that followed. The lawsuit covers a range of criticisms previously raised about the tragedy, including police communication. Of course, what was that? The Twitter tweeties, twatters. Oh yes, we used the Amber Alert, says Leather. Nobody ever reported on that. I don't know how that's even possible. And he's like, well, sorry, I guess I fucked up. And the one who corrected him, she's turfed. Who knows what she's doing? Toilet bowl she's cleaning now. Because she told the truth. Oh. Police communication. But it also questions staffing levels, notification of families, and alleges that vehicles received in evidence was later released to family with human remains still inside. Sorry for the graphicness. I apologize. I apologize for our police force. That's horrendous. I know this story well, sadly. Very sadly. Not good. We have Mr. Weber going back. I'm not going to say who this is. Because I respect the families. I do. I really do. But I can tell you, that was a pretty hard conversation to have. The province of Nova Scotia is also named as intended defendant in the case. 22, what is wrong with you people? 23, if they can go through and scrub their articles, removing details. Not saying anything about McMillan here at all. McMillan, cleaning out details. CBC, you can definitely correct this one. 23 families, victims, okay? 23 angels. Let's call it what they want. They're allowed to call the show. Now, have to continue with this one because it's part of the narrative. Killed by a gunman dressed in an RCMP uniform during the rampage. Started in Portapique, Nova Scotia, April 18th, and continued through several rural communities the next morning because they were going home and hanging out in a great village. Except the really good ones that just were like, you know what? I'm going in there anyway. I don't care. Quote, we think that there's a great deal of importance of this proceeding. Sandra McCullough, lawyer for Patterson Law in Truro, told CBC in an interview Wednesday the grander implications of Nova Scotia and our country as a whole. Absolutely. 100%. Peekaboo. I don't care if it's not their responsibility to clean it up. They clean it up. There are services down in the United States, crime scene cleanup people that are, I would think, also hired by the government here in Canada that do have to do that, and they are contracted. Nobody does this. First, you screw the families over repeatedly by lying to them, not telling them any details, as Harry Bond says very correctly. They get told details by who? Oh, the media, not the RCMP. Families don't get it from the RCMP, our police force, his police force, his parents' police force. No, they have to read papers and wait. Maybe some watch this. I don't know. Hopefully they can muddle through my garbage. McCullough is representing Tyler Blair and Andrew O'Brien, who are named plaintiffs in the case. Blair's father, Greg, and stepmother, Jamie, were killed in Portapique. O'Brien's wife, Heather, was shot near Masstown the next day. A little picture of the Blairs. McCullough said she had heard from the family of every victim except one. That's 21 families. 21 families. Contact a lawyer. I believe there's 20 lawsuits going right now. 20. Doesn't sound like the majority of families are very happy with the RCMP. Yeah, Amy, you're saying something true, but I'm not even going to post that just because it's too graphic. Like, but it's true. You know, it's true. Imagine if it was your family relative. Let's just leave it at that, right? Christ almighty. Give me a plane ticket. I'll go down there and clean it up if that's what's required. Not, why do you need to hurt people like this? Why do they need to? Hello, Truro. Hello. And I saw Serene in here. Hello, Serene. But would not comment on how many would take part in the proposed lawsuit, which must be approved before by a judge, or it can proceed to trial. We got to have a good judge here. There's been a lot of questions that have arisen since the events of 18 to 19. A lot more questions than answers. Well, funny that. And some of the answers that have come out are less than satisfactory. That's an understatement. That's an understatement. None of the allegations have been proven in court. The RCMP, the statement of claim filed on Tuesday in Nova Scotia Supreme Court says the RCMP failed to previously investigate shooter Gabriel Wortman despite warnings. CBC investigation revealed the Truro police received a tip in 2011 that Wortman wanted to kill a cop. This bulletin was shared. This was an intelligence bulletin for all police departments. Do you know where it ended up? I think it's like the Sood case. Some of you may be familiar with that. Shredded. Don't worry about that. We don't need anybody to know about that now. They might find out. So we can just say then we don't have it. Huh? RCMP initially said they didn't know what, if any, follow-up there was, but later said that an officer spoke to Wortman in his home Portapique several times. One officer. Seems like something strange is going on here. One officer speaking with him several times. I love that quote. I've got that too. RCMP said the bulletin was purged 2 years later, as per policy. But, you know, everybody else had it. Isn't that strange? Thank you to the great detective in Truro. Remembered the email. On April 18th, when the first calls came for help in Portapique, the lawsuit points out that police were warned by an unnamed victim that someone that he had been shot by someone who appeared to be driving a police vehicle. Oh, but don't worry. Corporal Derp said that didn't happen. Right? Where was that? Somewhere in here. Anyway, somewhere in this document, in this article. Derp said, no. Never happened. Don't worry about it. Uh-huh. Where are we at here? That interaction was also described in the search warrant. Also described by Campbell. The statement of claim says the force didn't accept that information and didn't warn the public that the shooter was pretending to be an officer until 10:17 a.m. the next morning. 10:17. A full 12 hours later. We know exactly who it is. We know what they're driving, but don't worry about it. We're just going to go home because he's probably dead. Or we'll go and hang out in Great Village. Understaffed, under-resourced. This is absolutely 100% true. Greg Densmore. Oh, thank you. Do you mind sending me that, Tammy? I appreciate that. On Discord. My memory is terrible. I do apologize. And thank you for joining us, by the way. Very much appreciated. Blue Nose also in the house. Lawsuit also alleges that too few officers were sent to the initial scene in Portapique and that the RCMP failed to set up a perimeter to contain the gunman. There was 2 perimeters. 2, interestingly enough. It said the RCMP, Colchester, and Hants counties, which include the communities caught in the rampage, are understaffed and under-resourced. That's right. In Colchester, they don't work between 2 and 6. They're on call. What kind of police department is on call? But they got all the fanciest toys. I love that article. They got all the fanciest toys they were showing off to Colchester County. All of the gadgets and things that they had, but they can't staff. That seems rather strange. Got all kinds of stuff. Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that. That they can't have police officers on between 2 and 6. So if you want to be a criminal, obviously not that I'm encouraging that, you could, I guess, technically go to Colchester County between 2 and 6 and, be a bad person, because the RCMP are showing cat and dog videos on their Twitter line every night. Operation Lockup. Yeah. Ooh. We'll get in there. Lawsuit also criticizes police communications. Says the public warning sent to police by police on Twitter were inadequate. Oh, Frank got the boot for that because poor internet coverage in the area and that they contained incorrect information about the shooter's location. Again, this was all since the beginning. We don't want people to know who we're dealing with here, do we? We want to try and keep this on the down low, and then we can try and cover it up. But it kind of got away from us, and now we're fucked. Oh, 9 p.m. Twitter lockup. There you go. Boom! The kitty cat. That's what they had showing for an hour while people were dying, burning alive. And my apologies for the graphic nature of the story, but it does need to be told. You can't hide the truth. Curfew grooming. Unbelievable. Also says the RCMP deliberately misled O'Brien, releasing conflicting information about whether his wife, a licensed practical nurse, was pulled over and killed or was shot from across the street. Oh, but there's some more of their gadgets. Don't worry. We've got all kinds of tanks and fucking this and that, but we can't even find a person in a police car with a helicopter. Hello. Don't worry about it. We'll just go home. Again, this is not critical of the RCMP. I'm going to be covering more on how they were treated because I'm becoming sadly more intimately familiar with how terrible the white shirts treat their own people. Throw them under the bus. And we all should wake up to that one. And we all need to get on board supporting them as well. They're terrified out of their minds of their bosses. This is why they have PTSD going off the charts. And they're killing themselves in front of detachments in red surge uniforms. Scary stuff. The lawsuit says RCMP did not properly notify families of deaths. Really? Days. And allowed photos and videos of victims to spread on social media before some notifications. Well, if you wait days, of course that's going to happen because families are going to be like, you haven't told me, I don't know, has anybody seen this person? Yeah. Yeah, we have the some RCMP officers also phoning their friends. O'Brien's daughter, Darcy Dobson, told Maclean's magazine her family knew something had happened to her mother, but it took 7 hours for them to receive notification from police. I believe, I could be wrong, I believe, no, they do suffer from very serious PTSD. Very serious, Nova Scotia. Very serious. Don't worry, I'll start whacking articles out here These people are treated horrendously. 7 hours to be notified by police. I like how they put this here. I could be wrong. Again, I always stand to be corrected. But funnily enough, I don't think I'm going to be. This was because they went down to the detachment and said, where the hell, as a family, big unit of them, and said, what the hell is going on? Tell us about our family. What is going on here? What's going on with Nurse O'Brien? Is she actually dead or not? Can you just tell us? And this was one of the faster ones. And that's because they confronted the shit out of them. Then they told them, oh, okay, yeah, now, sorry about that. We're talking about days in some cases. Days. And I'm not kidding with you when I say that. And that's not because bodies were burned. That's because they just didn't tell people. There's more than one family that has concerns about the manner in which this information was conveyed, said McCulloch. Lawsuit alleges one vehicle was released back to an unnamed family with gun casings and human remains inside. Oh, here we go. Do you see? And I'll just leave it. Not an easy conversation. Calls for inquiry. Both the RCMP and Nova Scotia's Attorney General, who's now being sued, of course, declined comment about the suit. The RCMP said that it had been served claim, but it won't comment once it does. Hasn't been served. But once it does, it's just not going to comment. But you know, it didn't even get served, but it's still not going to comment. Do they ever comment? Aside from, you got, here's leather. Leather's awesome. He's the man in charge. He was the man in charge in Nova Scotia that night. White shirt, leather. Awesome. Awesome. Our primary focus continues to be ongoing criminal investigation supporting the victims of this tragedy, as well as our members and employees. They don't support their members. They don't. This is your last shift on the job. While there has been growing calls for the inquiry, one has not yet been called. Okay, so these are earlier stories, obviously, I'm telling you. McCulloch doesn't know the factor the client's decision to move forward in the lawsuit. Ultimately, the processes are different, and the outcome of the processes are different. The process is, this is a process which can be actively involved and to pursue the answers of their own. McCulloch, who said that they are asking for damages, says it's far too early to determine how much. How can you determine how much? You can't. You can't put a price on this. And frankly, as the days roll by and the more lies come out and the more that they continue to lie, I'd say this figure keeps getting bigger. Just bigger. You know, the RCMP don't care, though, because who's paying them? Oh, that's right. That's you. That's me. The same people that pay them. So it's just kind of like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. It's like the fine down in in Moncton. I mean, really? Do you think they care whether they get a fine? So you fined us. let's see, who's in the government in power now? Oh, okay. Can you pay that, please? No problem. Oh, yeah. This is blowing up. This is blowing up. Blowing up. And we keep pushing this one. It's going to go nuclear. I'll tell you. Nuclear. Yeah. Yeah. I can't sleep. I can't, not that I'm crying, because I don't do that. But honestly, this stuff keeps me up at night thinking about, and I'm just some bumpkin out in Alberta. But I have a heart. I hear people. I listen to families. I'm like, what the? And they maintain their cool. Their composure. They're so, even though they're being re-traumatized every day, this bullshit when the RCMP keeps saying this stuff about, oh, we want to protect the families, we can't talk about anything. You are re-traumatizing them every day. You can't let these people have a moment of peace. Why? Why? What did they do wrong? Hey, Bobby. They didn't do anything. Hell, most of them listen to your 9 p.m. cat garbage. You can't put a price on it. You cannot. All of the things that will be missed, all of the birthdays, the graduations, the lessons to be learned, the wisdom that would have been passed down, the first moments, the first steps, the first words, relationships, broken hearts, on and on and on. The tragedy just continues. And, obviously that is the paramount and big, huge one. But this bleeds out because they hurt and society hurts because they feel the hurt. Nova Scotia is terrified. I'll share with you that one family member said to me that they were recounting to the RCMP on the phone how little that they trust them now. They will not stop, they said on the phone. I will not stop for you. I don't care. I will not stop for you. I don't care about your lights and your everythings. You have destroyed it. This is something we love in our society, right? Wreck trust. You know what their response was? Please just turn on your hazards, maybe drive to somewhere that's populated, maybe phone 911. They actually had an article on their homepage at one point in time about how to stop for RCMP now in Nova Scotia on the RCMP page. Because they know how serious it is. And all of Canada is suffering. Let's just take this stupid little piece, which is going to be obviously the financial one. Let's take the way bigger one, which is people don't trust their own police department. And there's lots of good people in there who equally are hurting and being hurt by the same people who ran the show. Who is benefiting from any of this? Who's benefiting? Yep. I don't know if you guys caught that over on Facebook. Unbelievable. Oh, but they were good enough to tear up the ticket. Don't you know? Oh, I'm sorry about that. What? I don't know what they're doing. She expects it will take between 6 months and a year before the lawsuit is certified as a class action and can start to move forward. Okay. That's another year and a half of pain. A pain that will never go away, could never be cured. But why would you keep Bergerman, Justice Bergerman? I want it now on my desk. Oh, you got to go. We'll put in somebody else who's a little bit more favorable to us. Yeah. They want to keep hurting people. Now, let's see here. I won't go through this because it's just basically repetitious. But let's see how the RCMP dealt with their own stuff. I should have lined up all of the clips of every press interview. We could actually put it on because it's pretty easy. It's basically every press conference that they had, and it's the beginning part of all of them, where they talk about Heidi Stevenson, which I do not discount this person's life in any way, shape, or form. I don't. Any loss of life is terrible. What they used, the psychological warfare and using Heidi Stevenson as a shield. Don't ask us our questions. They used family, like that word, family, all the time. Because think about it. You have a friend, and let's say maybe you have, I don't know, they owe you money or something like that. I don't know. And somebody in their family dies, their mom or something. You don't ask them questions. You leave them be, right? You just leave them alone. That's what good people do. They don't ask questions of families. So that's what they wanted you to do, not ask questions of their family. Heidi Stevenson got used. This was how it came out on their end. Yeah. RCMP mourns loss of officer killed in Nova Scotia shooting spree. They pump this all over the place, all of the media. Family, 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 RCMP family, family, family. The RCMP is mourning the loss of one of their own. Do you see? I'm not tinfoil. This is very well documented how to fight psychological warfare. Psychological warfare, which is something that is very real. One of their own. I would love to meet this man one day. I really would. Really would. Sounds like an awesome guy. I am, and she probably did. But do you guys feel that she was being used, paraded around, so that the RCMP just don't have to ask questions, answer questions? Is there anybody in here who disagrees with me on that one? Yes, God bless them. But they used that shield. It wasn't real After an officer was killed on duty, deadly rampage 17 included 17 dead. Okay, so we're very early in the process here. And yes, of course, people in the RCMP suffered. Of course that people who worked with her, co-worker, of course that made them afraid. Who wants to have any kind, their job is now that much more threatening. But it was what the white shirts used it as symbolically. Just as they always say, never ask questions. Never ask questions. We can't answer questions because we're trying to protect family. We can't answer questions because we lost one of our own. We can't answer questions because it's an ongoing investigation. We can't answer questions because we destroyed that. Sorry, we can't answer that. You ask a question? Oh, sorry, you got to go. You asked too many good questions. You've got to go. Word salad. There we go. I don't know. I think the word salad kind of caught on. What was unfolding overnight and into this morning is incomprehensible. Nova Scotia Commanding Officer Lee Bergerman. The one that, Lee Bergerman? This is Lee Bergerman. I'm Lee Bergerman. Notice how much she's come out? Oh, hiding. Told reporters, adding that another officer to be treated in the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. Released shortly thereafter. As in less than 24 hours. It's with tremendous sadness that we lost Constable Heidi Stevenson, 23-year veteran of the force who was killed this morning while responding to an active shooter investigation. Okay, now let's see. You're going to get the ad probably.
I'm wondering if you can discuss that earlier today there was some information that the suspect had both what appeared to be a police uniform and a police car. Can you discuss that?
Yes, I can confirm that at one point during the course of the evening hours, he appears to have been wearing, if not all, then a portion of a police uniform, and that we believe that he was driving at one point a mock-up or a vehicle that was made to look like an RCMP police cruiser.
Please, anybody? Here's a good challenge. Please, anybody, find me. Oh, they'll probably pop up, though. God, they're getting good. They're getting good. Some of the stuff, holy shit, man, it's getting freaky. Find something earlier than April 18th. A police car that looks like that in Canada. One, can you find me one fully equipped with everything, all the balls and whistles? As in, one member said to me, I would come out of the detachment. I would get in that car. And I know there would be no problem because that car is a real car. Durr. Anyway, that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for the beginning part, but let's see here. Bergerman said she met with Stevenson's family earlier Sunday afternoon. There are no words to describe their pain. 2 children have lost their mother, their husband, their wife, parents have lost their daughters. Countless others have lost an incredible friend and colleague. Now, if I do my math correctly, 1 out of 23. 1 out of 23. Why is 1 out of 23 so much more important? Statistically, what are we talking about? 4.2, 4.3%? Somewhere in that neighborhood? How much is devoted to the 4.3%? RCMP initially said, I'm just being, hey, we live in a place of equality, don't we? Supposedly. Shouldn't we devote as many articles to all of the family's victims? frankly, somebody was saying to me yesterday, very good, that I should start running through stories of the family members so that it keeps it fresh in our minds. Who are these people? What kind of wonderful people were they? What did we lose out of our society? And what did the families lose? I think it was a very good idea. RCMP said that initially 10 had been killed, including Wortman, provided update Sunday evening, revising the death toll. Okay, so found several bodies outside the home. Oh, but that's when you had the cat tweet still on their Twitter, very superior Twitter line, right? For an hour before they said, oh, by the way, there may be a weapons complaint. Maybe somebody has a BB gun down there in Portapique. But they had a cat. The intro that I had for the video for the Onslow was true, essentially. I mean, it's not the actual footage, right? But you have fire. You have gunfire going off. Fire. Dead bodies, which I didn't show, obviously. But this is what's going on. And what do they have on their superior way of telling you? A cat rolling around. An hour. They knew that. An hour. Unbelievable. No, they're unaware of any previous convictions. Really? I don't think so. Don't think so. Can't answer any questions about well. Cole Harbour councillor wants to pay tribute to Constable Stevenson by naming something after her. How about we name all kinds of things after all of the family members? How about that? That's crazy. What are you talking about? No. No. Get that picture out there. Really tugs on the heartstrings. And it does, because it's true. But you could show all of the family photos like this. People who loved families, had families, smiling with children, and do the same thing. RCMP officers take part in last patrol for Constable Heidi Stevenson. Silence is consent. You're right. All those memorials, they have to come down. But it looks good. It you know, and again, I'm not diminishing. It is what is behind it that's not very that there's a problem with. Colleagues in Nova Scotia Mountie that was killed last month for shooting rampage took part in a poignant ceremony along with his last patrol on Friday. RCMP released a series of photos showing 5 officers. RCMP released photos. Where's the families? Where's the ombudsman for the families? How about that? Peanut butter. Thinking peanut butter. They know who I'm talking about. Shouldn't there be like somebody who's working for the RCMP that's releasing all kinds of photos of the families? No. Let's go and get the professional photographer. 5 officers paying tribute to respects at a roadside bend in Shubenacadie, where Constable Stevenson was killed. Photos show 2 Mounties in red serge, 2 in plain clothes, 1 in regular uniform, all bowing their heads, a makeshift memorial festooned with flowers, flags, and posters. In the background, there are more officers, a long line of RCMP cruisers. You do realize, when is this article done? Okay, sorry, this is incorrect. May 1st. So my apologies, I won't say anything about that. Stevenson was among 22 and 23. There you go. Show of force. Okay. Dozens of police vehicles lead procession to bring body of Constable Stevenson home to Cole Harbour. Did you have this for any of the families? No, sorry. What was it that was the professional photographer? I forget her name. I have it away in my files somewhere. It was a hero's tribute to the 2 RCMP officers heavily involved in the pursuit of the suspect at the center of the mass shooting over the weekend. What about people who were just innocently getting mowed down, who didn't have weapons, who had nothing to defend themselves with, except hopefully the prayer that maybe the police force they pay for might save them? If they had said early on in this story, this is who you're looking for, this is what you'll be looking for, RCMP cruiser, while you're tucked away in your home with kitty cat, perhaps people wouldn't have gone outside and died. Gross negligence causing death. Like I said since the beginning, lawsuit. Ooh, that's how you're going to get the truth. April 21st. It was a hero's tribute to 2 RCMP officers heavily involved in the pursuit. April 21st, I believe there were some families still by this point who were not informed. Nice. April 21st is Tuesday. Yes, that's true. Awesome, but we have all of this going down. Dozens of police vehicles were part of a procession from Burnside to Cole Harbour Monday afternoon, where the body of Constable Hyden Stevenson was brought home from Burnside. Stevenson, 23-year veteran, died in an effort oh, look at that. Just look at that. Can't tell families, but they can drive up and down roads. Is it just me, or is other people seeing? There's something drastically wrong with this picture. Do any of the 23 angels get this? No. What they got told was, anything that you do, we won't help you with. You want to have a procession? Too bad. We're not going to help you with that. What is that? Psychological warfare. Can't show in the press all these big line of vehicles. They get it. They get it because they've got the lights and the sirens, and they can do whatever the hell they want to do. Right? But the 23 angels, they don't get that. Autopsy. Yeah. 911 calls. Ooh, I wouldn't count on those. Nice, clean, sanitized ones, possibly. Oh, I said early on to Tara, Habeas corpus, habeas corpus. As soon as she said that in an email, oh my God, things absolutely changed. But that they said, oh, by this point, we've already released the body. Sorry, we can't give you the autopsy anymore. Injunction on the body. I said, place an injunction on the body until they are going to give you the autopsy. So she writes them and she says that. What do they say? Oh, too bad. We released it already. We didn't need your approval. I've heard some interesting stories about how nobody's had to ID their family members. I don't know what that's about. Frankly, obviously, who would want to do that? Terrible, horrific. But it seems a bit odd. Yeah, of course they couldn't help Mr. Bond with the tribute, but it's the perception of what the rest of Canada sees in the media. That's where I'm coming from. That's why they don't want to help them, right? Because what do you see in this photo? You see a big line, a long line of cars. If you have the police who are not holding back traffic on a procession for Mr. Bond and the 23 angels, right? They have to stop at the lights, stop and go. What happens is the press takes a picture. They don't get this. What they get is a few cars. And then people are like, well, you know, it's not that big of a deal. I guess it's not, nobody really cares. Fuck you, they don't. Hundreds, thousands care. They clearly care about themselves. Colleagues and friends just took part in a procession for Constable Heidi Stevenson back to Dartmouth Cole Harbor, thinking of all of our first responders who lost their own in their senseless act of violence. I'm thinking about the families. I'm thinking about that phone call I had with Tara right away. Poof. And I'm thinking about this. And I'm thinking about the other 20 angels that day. Because that was 3 members of her family. Poof, gone. That was half of her family in a day. Meantime, large crowd gathering in Lance to welcome home Constable Chad Morrison, injured and hospitalized in his ordeal, but was able to go home to his family on Monday. The next day, the very next day. Law enforcement, other agencies, residents of East Hants came home to gather wounded RCMP member Chad Morrison as he was released from hospital. This was a result of the tragic events. Dana Helpart, that's not the woman I'm thinking of. There was a professional photographer, hired by your money to take pictures of Chad Morrison coming home. Did they hire a photographer for any of the other angels that died that day? The answer is, to the best of my knowledge, I would love to be corrected, and hopefully I could be. No. Chad Morrison got it. Professional photographer. I went through that in an earlier video. I could find it, but let's not get into it. Police also lined the highway and held Nova Scotia and Canadian flags in Elmsdale and Hammonds Plains to show gratitude to the RCMP and first responders in their response to the shootings. I am grateful for that. Of course I am. We all are. I'm also grateful for all of the people, the angels. Is there something wrong with that? Chief Medical Officer Health Dr. Robert Stang says he knows it's difficult for many people who are in pain, but the mourning victims showing support must be done with COVID-19 in mind. Let's just skip at that. So let's see here. There's a couple of videos I wanted to show you. Hopefully this will play. Okay, so what is Burnside? Burnside is the location of the chief or medical examiner for Nova Scotia. While Joey Weber went to a location that I won't disclose, but wasn't Burnside, let's put it that way. This is what happened with Heidi Stevenson. Do keep in mind also that many families will wait days to find out that their loved one is dead. This is what happened.
What is it?
There they are working hard, informing families and things. Crime scene investigation. Oh, yeah, sorry, that's bulldozing. Oh, and there goes the tow truck.
Oh, there's the tow truck that brought her vehicle.
Oh, that guy's voice. There it is, right there. Ooh. Somebody seeing something wrong with that? I see something very wrong with a lot of things here. Maybe I just see things. I don't know. Call me crazy. Oh, yeah, here. Because you know those RCMP fake cruisers have rear-facing radar guns and communication boxes. Every one of those fake cruisers, you know, that you just get out of your Cracker Jack box comes equipped with those. Because that's just readily available on the market. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think we'll close with the opening remarks of every press conference. Okay, so this is what the families got, right? Oh no, they were still waiting. This procession was huge, by the way, huge. Meanwhile, Joey Weber, not to be graphic, is sitting somewhere else because his isn't a crime scene. You know, it wasn't a crime scene. Heidi Stevenson was a crime scene, not Joey Weber. No, not a crime scene. He doesn't need to go to the medical examiner at all. What? Does that make sense? That was a crime scene. Should he not go to the medical examiner like Heidi Stevenson? Rather, he goes somewhere else and sits and waits for the RCMP to... Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Something very wrong with this picture. I don't care about toilet paper. I care about families. Now, let's listen to a few of the press conferences because they started all off in the same way. Some of them are rather tragic, as I recall. It's kind of like, oh, yeah, we're also sorry for the other people who died. Excuse me. Let's see here. Let's go to the 19th. Let's start with that one.
Hi, my name is Corporal Lisa Croteau, and I want to thank you all for coming and for calling in. We have several media on our conference call line who will be listening and participating via speakerphone. Today, Nova Scotia RCMP's Commanding Officer, Assistant Commissioner Lee Bergerman, will speak about the incidents last night and today. She will be followed by Nova Scotia RCMP's Criminal Operation Officer, Chief Superintendent Chris Leather, who is the Criminal Operation Officer of Nova Scotia RCMP. He will speak about a response to the incident. We will take questions following their comments. Bonjour, je m'appelle Corporal Lisa Croteau, et you that we have
This is Lee Bergerman. Lee Bergerman. Hiding in the dark, Bergerman. Now let's see how much she has to say about families.
Good evening. Today is a devastating day for Nova Scotia, and it will remain etched in the minds of many for years to come. What has unfolded overnight and into this morning is incomprehensible, and many families are experiencing the loss of a loved one. That includes our own RCMP family. It's with tremendous sadness that I share with you that we have lost Constable Heidi Stevenson, a 23-year veteran of the force who was killed this morning while responding to an active shooter incident. Heidi answered the call of duty and lost her life while protecting those she served. Earlier this afternoon, I met with Heidi's family, and there are no words to describe their pain. 2 children have lost their mother, and a husband has lost his wife. Parents have lost their daughter, and countless others lost an incredible friend and colleague. Heidi's family is a part of the RCMP family, and we will embrace and support them in the days and weeks and months ahead. Unfortunately, I have to also share that another one of our officers was injured and is in the hospital receiving treatment of a non-life-threatening injuries. He and his family will be supported, and we will be alongside him as he begins his road to recovery.
Sorry, how much mention have we had about families? Oh, that's right. We're talking about non-life-threatening injury that got released. Right? No mention. But, she's up to at least 3 pages on Heidi Stevenson. 3 if you're counting. Pretty good.
This tragic incident has also resulted in many victims outside of the RCMP. Countless families are in mourning today. Each person who lost their family and friend, and they too will need their support. The impact of this incident will extend from one end of the province to the other. As Nova Scotians, we have to do what we're known for and come together.
Okay, So there you go. That was what was said about the families. Paragraph. 3 pages, paragraph. 3 pages, paragraph. Mention of wounded member before families. Very important. 4.3%. Ooh, let's go on to the next one. What date are we on now? Okay. Let's go to April 20th. Sound is okay for everybody? Which one is this? I hope so.
Ready? Hi, my name is Corporal Lisa Croteau, and I want to thank all of you for coming and for calling in today. We have several media on our conference call line who will be listening and participating via speakerphone. Today, the Nova Scotia RCMP Criminal Operations Officer, Chief Superintendent Chris Leather, who is the Criminal Operations Officer of Nova Scotia RCMP, will provide an update on the investigation into the active shooter events. We will take questions following their comments. Please provide your name and agency for the benefit of all participants. Bonjour, je m'appelle Corporal Lisa Croteau.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want again to offer my sincere condolences to the family, colleagues, and friends of Constable Heidi Stevenson. We have lost one of our own while she was protecting others. This is a definition of a true hero. We have set up an email for condolences, which is available on the RCMP Nova Scotia Facebook and Twitter accounts. To the families and loved ones of all the victims, please accept my deepest condolences on the loss of your loved ones, and to everyone hurting and trying to make sense of what has happened. Please know that we too are doing so. I do have some promising news, some good.
Okay, so there was got to start it out with Heidi Stevenson, got a free email for her to set up condolences. Families, no email. Okay, moving along. First mention, of course, but almost relatively equal airtime. So we know that this time we're talking about at least 50%, right? Because there was 2 people that died in this. Was it, or was it 4.3%? My math, not so good. Let's move on to the next one. April 20th. Okay, where are we at here? 22nd. Is this the full one? Yeah, the fuck. You want to hear the fuck? So you got the fuck too, if you want that. Okay, and the little, smaller, shorter, I don't know how to describe her. Smaller, shorter lady. I don't know who she was. She got the turf because she corrected Leather when he said, oh, yes, we used the Amber Alert. And she said, no, we didn't actually. We used the Twitter. She also got that incorrect because she said the Twitter and the Facebook, which they didn't ever use because of the fluid dynamic. She got the languaging right, but because she corrected Leather, that was the end of her. Now, hitters, you have a really positive opinion of this, that corporal. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I don't think she's unemployed. She's probably on medical leave now. Will be going for PTSD shortly because they will just keep driving her out.
Good afternoon. My name is Corporal Jennifer Clark, and I want to thank you all for coming and calling in. Bon après-midi. Je m'appelle Caporal Jennifer Clark et je tiens à vous remercier d'être ici et de participer par téléconférence aujourd'hui. We had several media on our conference call line who will be listening and participating via speakerphone. Nous avons plusieurs médias sur notre ligne de téléconférence qui écouteront et participeront aussi. Today, Nova Scotia RCMP's Commanding Officer, Assistant Commissioner Lee Bergerman, and Chief Superintendent Chris Leather, who is Nova Scotia RCMP's Criminal Operations Officer, will provide an update on the incidents of April 18th and 19th. Aujourd'hui, la commissaire adjointe Lee Bergerman, commandant de la GRC en Nouvelle-Écosse, et le surintendant principal Chris Leather, officier responsable des enquêtes criminelles de la GRC en Nouvelle-Écosse, vont donner une mise à jour sur les incidents de 18 et 19 avril. They will provide their statements in English, then I will read both statements in French. Ils fourniront leur déclaration en anglais et je les fournirai en français.
Thank you. Good afternoon. What happened this past weekend in our beautiful province can only be described as devastating. The sorrow in communities from coast to coast is palpable. I feel it. We feel it. We see candles lit in the windows and on the porches. The pain and heartache of all families and friends who have lost loved ones is incomprehensible and only made more difficult with COVID-19 pandemic among us. The opportunity to come together to provide comfort is not there. I and all of us in H Division RCMP extend our sympathies to all of those affected. We see the vigils across the province in honor of your loved ones and recognize your great loss, including the loss of RCMP Constable Heidi Stevenson, who was dedicated to protecting Nova Scotians and whose family is interwoven in the local community. The impact of the weekend's incidents will remain, and how it's changed us cannot be ignored. One of these impacts is understandable unease and for some fear. The incidents were unprecedented, not only in this province, but in this country. And there is no instruction book on how we should feel. What I can assure you is that all of us in every part of our division and in the communities across the province are dedicated to your safety and security, and we are here for you. I am very proud of the dedication of all employees in this division and their commitment to all Nova Scotians. This was never more on display than in our response this past weekend. From when our telecommunicators received the 911 calls and we arrived in Portapique to the extensive search for the suspect to when we stopped the gunman, our officers were there to protect Nova Scotians. One of our jobs is to thoroughly investigate this tragic incident, and we are doing just that. We know that many of you have unanswered questions. We do too. We also know you expect us to do a good job, and we want to do a good job for you. We will need time to do that. You can be assured our investigative teams are working around the clock. Employees at every level are contributing to the investigation.
Oops, sorry. Should I play the parade? The parades? Parades. Because there's multiple ones, right? Morrison. Body to the examiner, while sadly Joey Weber went somewhere else. We could have the parade leaving. We could have the parade at the site in Shub. Multiple parades. Families waiting to hear about their loved ones. Very good. Maybe it's worth listening to her a little bit more on how excellent a job that they're doing and how an excellent job that they have done.
We also have tremendous resource support from other provinces and our federal counterparts to help us in this investigation. We are grateful for their support. We feel.
Oh, sorry to interlude again. I'm very bad at interrupting. That is the burying, the bulldozing, right? The bulldozing, the backhoeing. Oh, there's my little friend. Bulldozing and backhoeing of crime scenes while they're still on fire. Very good crime scene investigation. Again, look at the times on how long it took them to clean everything up. How much crime scene investigation was done down the Shube? Some of these were a couple of hours. Enfield, to the best of my knowledge, was 2 hours. 2 hours. Search investigation, oh yeah, those are missing. They're long overdue.
Feel your sorrow, but we also feel your support and your resilience, and thank you. Thank you for your condolences, your well wishes, and the many messages of support that we have received. Nova Scotia Strong is indeed accurate, and we are here for you. I will now turn this over to Chief Superintendent Chris Leather for an update on the investigation. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
You know those pants? Those pants, I think they used those pants in their 28th photo op as evidence. There you go. See, there's the pants. Nice and clean. Well pressed. No damage on the pants. You see, condolences to them. Everything's to them. We're our family. Don't worry about us. We're all good. We need you to support us. We're doing such a great job. And they lie to you and say how many people are supporting them.
Good afternoon. I also want to express my condolences to all the families affected by this tragedy. This is a difficult time in our province, and we will all find our own way to get through this. I want to assure all Nova Scotians that we are dedicating all the resources necessary to conduct a thorough investigation.
Oop, my apologies. My apologies. Sorry. Here's the I've heard enough of the cleanup and the dedicated resources. Here's the dedicated resources for you. Okay? Dedicated resources there. Here's the pants Remember I was talking about the pants, how nice the pants are. These are the actual pants that the killer used. 23 Angels pants. Burning, running through bush, multiple fires, fighting with people, I'm sure. Those are pretty nice pants. But those are the real pants, don't you know? Let's see if we can find some more nice dedicated resources, pictures. I know I've got a bunch of them. Well, aside from the funeral parades and all of that stuff. Where are we at here? Oh, where did they go? I think my little friend is hungry. Are you hungry, sir? Scraping the bowl. Excuse me. Oh, where's the? Yeah, I've got a bunch of them. I won't dig around for them. I think many of you who have watched my videos obviously know. You could take Gina Goulet's house. How about Gina Goulet's house? Crime tape, one car. That was done in, how long was it done? Under 13 hours. Massive resources there. Wow, they're just all over the place. They're really showing their stripes. Let's continue with leather.
This investigation is complex. This will take time, as we want to be as thorough as possible. We have asked for and received support from the Canadian Armed Forces for equipment to help shelter those conducting crime scene investigations, and resource support from other provinces and our federal counterparts. Nova Scotians have lots of questions about what happened, why it happened, what things were done, and what wasn't. You can be assured that we have those same questions and we'll be seeking answers through our investigation. There have also been several questions about why the emergency alert was not used. From that initial call, our response was dynamic and fluid.
Dynamic and fluid. Dynamic and fluid in his pants. Let's go to the next one. They also pick very opportune days to hold their press conferences in many cases. Let's see this one.
Good morning. As Corporal Clark has mentioned, my name is Darren Campbell and I'm a Support Services Officer for the Nova Scotia RCMP. Before I begin and provide you with information related to the incidents as they unfolded, I first want to acknowledge those who have lost their lives. 22 innocent people were killed at the hands of a gunman and 3 people were injured. To call this a tragedy.
23, sorry, you got that wrong. Sorry about that.
Would be an understatement. Some of those who lost their lives did so while trying to save others. They are true heroes. I want to express my sincere condolences to all of the families. There are 2 elements that I'd like to address before going through the incidents as they unfolded. These incidents happened in a rural area of Nova Scotia, which is Portapique, in the community investigation and what we learned to this point. I just wanted to highlight that today
I'm Corporal Jennifer Clark, spokesperson for Nova Scotia RCMP, and I will be your moderator for this news conference. Bonjour et bienvenue. Je suis la caporale Jennifer Clark, porte-parole de la GRC en Nouvelle.
Thank you, Corporal Clark. Before I begin to provide you with information related to the investigation and what we learned to this point, I just wanted to highlight that today is a National Day of Mourning, which is a day dedicated to remembering and honoring those who have lost their lives or suffered injury or illness on the job.
Okay, so the 28th, very convenient day, wasn't it, to have that conference, lost their lives on the job. Moving along, not that he's trying to, make you remember how much they've lost here or anything. No, that's not what's going on here. Right.
Recent events here in Nova Scotia remind us that policing is an inherently dangerous job. And today, Constable Heidi Stevenson, who gave her life to protect her community, and Constable Chad Morrison, who was injured in the incident, are both very much on our minds. Thank you once again to everyone who bravely responded to intervene and to those who stopped to help them. Today is also a day to acknowledge the victims of this tragic incident. And I want to express my sincere condolences to all the families of the 22 innocent people who were killed at the hands of a gunman. I want to thank Nova Scotians for the support that they've shown all the families and to the RCMP. Having provided an account of the incidents this
Oh, god damn it. Muting, god damn it. Headphones? Yeah, I could do headphones. You're right, hitters. I could do headphones. Messes with my hair, though. Okay, so did you notice again? He picks the day very carefully. National Day of Mourning for those who lost their lives on the day of the job or something. I who even knows? April 28th? What is that? Is it some special day? April 28th on the job day. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Handy that. How handy. How about we have a conference on the day of people lying in their beds innocently getting burned day? Could we have a conference on that day? Did you notice how he mentioned everybody's names? Oh, that's right. He didn't. Oh, but he did. He mentioned the RCMP, Heidi Stevenson, Chad Morrison, somebody who didn't even die. Somebody who was out of the hospital the next day. Somebody who got paid to do that job. Not like they were lying in bed, innocently murdered. I'm having a problem here with how this plays out. Do you see what I see? Oh, I see it. Do you see it? But don't worry, we'll also talk about those other people later. First and foremost, every time, keep it in your consciousness. How badly. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for feeling sorry for us. Thank you for the professional photographer. Thank you for the cars that you paid for, that we use to drive up and down in our parades. Oh, there's other people that died? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Did that happen? All the Sharpies that died in the line of duty. Oh my. A lot of dead Sharpies. Let's see. Do we have another one? I think we could go to the July or June 4th interview. I knew this one was going to be the last one. And I think every one of them start off by the RCMP. I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I've watched these. Okay. Let's see here. What's going on? Why is this not playing? Oh, here we go. We're waiting for them. Don't worry, they'll shut it down though when they want. No, we're done.
Thank you. Madame, la parole est à vous.
So to begin, I must first acknowledge today is June 4th, a day many will never forget. As it was 6 years ago that we tragically lost 3 RCMP officers in Moncton. Those incidents continue to affect us all, the families of our fallen, the force, and the community. As Corporal Clark noted, Superintendent Campbell will provide an update on our investigation into the incidents on April 18th and 19th.
Just in case you didn't catch that, it was she's talking about the fallen, those that fall in the line of duty.
Before he does, I'd like to take this opportunity to address the families of the victims, Nova Scotians, and our RCMP Nova Scotian employees. To the families of the victims so deeply impacted by the incidents here on April 18th and 19th, your lives have changed in ways that most will never understand. This was a horrific incident directed at innocent people, and nobody has felt this more than you. Please know that your family members and you will remain at the forefront of every decision we make in relation to Operation H Strong. We know you're looking for answers with broken hearts. I can assure you that since day one, we are investigating to uncover the why and how this happened, and we continue to go where the facts lead us. We have leaned heavily on our officers who are serving as liaisons to the families of the victims. Our RCMP and provincial victim services have also provided remarkable assistance. Keeping the family supported and informed are critically important pieces, and we're fully committed to ensuring an ongoing open dialogue with you. To Nova Scotians, to say these have been trying times is an understatement. I have come to accept there will never be words to describe the impact these days because the effects of the gunman's actions are deep, far-reaching, and for many life-changing. It has become very clear that for Nova Scotians, there will always be a before April 18th and an after. We have endured a terrible attack on our province, which was unprecedented and unlike anything we have seen before. In the past 6 weeks, Nova Scotians have experienced every emotion and have rallied together, united in grief, in outrage, and resolve to honor the innocent victims.
and to preserve and defend the true culture of Nova Scotia, which is one of kindness, hospitality, and compassion.
One of just, we will let this blow over, right? Hashtag something. Oh, put something behind your Facebook, because you know that's going to change everything. Outrage, outrage, possibly with whom? With whom? Was it that misogynist guy? Psychopath diagnosed by a, what is it? Private contractor. That still lives in Bass River. Oh, the bombs. They're going to start dropping. I've got them.
Amid the cloud of tragedy, we have felt your outpouring of condolences and support. We will continue to be there for Constable Heidi Stevenson's family and for Constable Chad Morrison, who is recovering from his injuries. We share in the collective inability to gather and celebrate the lives of those tragically lost in April, but what you have done for us is truly appreciated, and I thank you. Many of us in the RCMP have found comfort in your notes, public displays, and personal expressions of thanks. We have felt your embrace. To all Nova Scotia RCMP employees, whom I've never been prouder of, well over 100 employees were part of the response on April 18th and 19th, and hundreds more are involved in Operation H Strong. On the investigation and behind the scenes, we're all one family. What those who responded on April 18th and 19th faced is unlike anything most have been faced with before, and your experiences and firsthand accounts of what unfolded are heartbreaking on many levels. You also demonstrate the type of people you are. You're selfless, you're brave, trained, skilled, and heroic. We all feel privileged to work with you, and I have never been more proud to be a member of the RCMP.
Oh, how much are we going on again about the RCMP? Whose names were mentioned again? Oh, that was 23 angels, right? Oh, sorry. 22 were not mentioned. But we did get a mention of a half, or a quarter, or an eighth. And then we got a lot of mention of how good they are and how wonderful they are and how super everybody's supporting them and behind them. But no names still. Again, 4.3%. My math could be out. Sorry, I do it in my head. Let's see if anybody else wants to talk about their fantastic job.
It's again important to acknowledge the tremendous loss and trauma experienced by the victims and that of their families. I'm very mindful that when information is released publicly, it may cause distress for the families and others closely associated to those who lost their lives or who were injured.
Releasing information might hurt people. No, not because I have dandruff. Releasing information hurts people. No, actually it doesn't. Releasing bodies in cars, storing bodies in cars, hurts people. When? Derp.
Through the assigned RCMP family liaison officers, families have been advised in advance of when and what information we're providing publicly.
Again, I believe Harry Bond accurately described it. I watch the news because you guys know more than I do. The media knows more than I do. And I'm a victim.
We remain committed to providing them with meaningful, factual updates as the investigation unfolds. The investigation is being led by the Nova Scotia RCMP Major Crimes Unit. Hundreds of RCMP employees have and continue to be engaged in the investigation, and has been supported by specialized RCMP resources from across the country. To date, investigators have interviewed over 650 different individuals from a variety of provinces, including British Columbia, Alberta, Ontario, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and the United States.
And you remember how it said about the list of things that they had to do? The to-do list? Oh, that's what he's referring to, not the number of people. It was the number of things that they had to ask each of these people. Or not each of these people, just a big list of questions. That's what he's referring to, 650. Oops. Not telling the truth again. Sorry about that, sir.
A number of exhibits have been forensically examined by highly skilled forensic identification specialists, RCMP forensic scientists from our forensic laboratories, and by specialists within the Nova Scotia Medical Examiner's Office. It's quite important to highlight
Oh, am I fucking muted again? Oh my God. I have to try and memorize what I just said, man. That's a problem. Why do I mute myself? Because there's an echo. I believe there's an echo if I play it. Is there not an echo? Here.
highlight the complex, difficult, and highly professional work that they continue to provide during this investigation.
Yeah. Is there an echo? See, it cancels echo. The autopsy reports, oh, don't worry about those. You don't get them. The actually even being able to identify your dead one, no, don't worry about that. The medical examiner, who is required by law, Fatal Injuries Act, Nova Scotia, to provide families with an autopsy. Don't worry about that. One car goes to medical examiner's office containing who? Oh, they wear yellow pants, urine line, whatever that is. And Mr. Weber, oh, he goes to another location, which has nothing to do with the medical examiner. Eh? Oh, no, I don't want to talk over them. You miss out. If I talk over them, then you miss out on all the good stuff. They're telling you, like, how great and wonderful they are and how everybody loves them and trusts them and supports them. And they're getting flooded with emails, their dedicated line just for them. No mention of anybody's name here except for Chad Morrison and Heidi Stevenson. Times 2. How many press conferences have we done? Is that 5, 6? 4.3%. It's actually, because they throw Morrison in there, that actually changes it. Did they mention any of the other people who were injured by name? No, they didn't. Oh, yeah. No, they don't. They do mention about their wicked crime scene cleanup. Gosh, I'm going to see, like, these are ideas just for videos. I don't do videos anymore, which is really sad. I just do live streams. I simply don't have the time to cut videos together anymore. But damn, I got some good ones. You can just do the math. It's so simple. You can see the psychological warfare that they fight. Everybody pretty much involved in this story knows, RCMP included, good RCMP included. Nobody trusts them anymore. Never did since this all started, because they really fucked it up on purpose so they could hide their garbage. Oh, but they want to call me a conspiracy theorist. Really? I bring evidence to the table. Stuff that comes out in the media weeks later. Funny that. One that they can't comment on then. Because, oh, that might hurt families, or that might, we haven't destroyed those files yet. This is really deep, people. Like, seriously, the depth of the not just the psychological operations, as in what you see here and the parades and all this other nonsense, and they're lying, and even though they're backhoeing, and where's the pictures? I've got the pictures of the bulldozers down there in Portapique, just pushing over everything. My God, man. What kind of crime scene investigation is that? We're dedicated. We have everybody in the country. We've flown them in here. No, you didn't do anything, man. You hired contractors to wreck scenes while the firemen are still putting out literally, I don't have that picture lined up right now, though I do have it, where they're putting out the fire on Sean McLeod, Alana Jenkins' home. The firemen. And there's a backhoe destroying the house. Does that make sense? It's a crime scene. You don't do that. The psychological operation with the pictures, the very handy, rubble that they had of the house with the one burned out cruiser. Notice all the cars disappeared. Notice you never saw the warehouse, ever saw the warehouse. They didn't want you to see that, did they? No, they closed that road down. Put a security guy on the end of it. Why? I don't say conspiracy. I say I have good questions. I say the people who help in the rooms when they want to help and not pump a lot of other stuff, which is pretty fantastic. We get the answers. We get them way before anybody else. The people over on the Facebergs are doing the same thing, I'm sure. I don't really read their stuff very much, but they didn't even want me in their group to begin with. I don't know. Yes, and then the PSYOP. That is a 100% huge PSYOP all of the people involved in it. All of them. All friends with one another. Long time ties to RCMP. I mean, it goes on and on. But you know, of course, because Bo, she's a certified psychologist. Oh, sorry, she works for, oh, yeah, we better not go there right now. Let's see, maybe. If they're going to talk about anything else, let's see. Does Leather's pretty good to watch actually in this one. I like watching him live when this was going on.
Yeah. In addition to the 8 strong.
Ce qui a amené le tireur à commettre ces horribles crimes et pour déterminer si l'on peut dégager des événements de facteurs prédictifs qui permettraient de prévenir semblables catastrophes à l'avenir. Le travail de ces experts comporte notamment
an update on some of the other overarching areas that we have been looking at in addition to the 8 strong criminal investigation. Our overall response.
Watch the shaking. Please note the shaking.
To the incidents on April 18 and 19 are subject to a number of reviews or independent investigations. The Nova Scotia Serious Incident Response Team, or CERT, is investigating the fatal police-involved shooting of the gunman, as well as the discharge of firearms on April 19 at the Onslow Belmont Fire Brigade Hall. Both.
Yeah, very independent CERT, comprised entirely of police. Yep, very independent, very transparent. Once again, I love that vomit word salad. No, sorry, not transparent. That report, by the way, reports are overdue. Overdue. Where are they?
These investigations are being led by CERT and remain ongoing. There's something I'll add about Onslow because what took place on April 19th, as the incident was unfolding and was traumatic for those that were there. Since then, I, along with local RCMP commanders from the area, met with the chief and deputy of the Onslow Fire Brigade to hear firsthand what people had experienced on the 19th. We had a very respectful and honest conversation, and as partners, we made a commitment to continue to work shoulder to shoulder in our shared responsibility of public safety.
So that's the shoulder to shoulder as you open fire on them. The respectful, honest discussion was them telling you that they're traumatized. Where's safe? Where's safe? Oh yeah, no apologies. No, doesn't matter. I'm not going to continue with this drivel. It's drivel. Word salad drivel, garbage with their flags and their fucking pissy pant uniforms and whatever else they're wearing at the time. Though Leather is very good to watch. I quite like this. He needs some anti-seizure medication, something to calm him down before he starts. Or the microphone 7,000 feet away turned down, because that works well. When you want to answer people honestly, Campbell, funnily enough, is probably the best liar of them all, right? I don't know. Remember who he had to throw under the bus to get there. He got 2 ranks out of it, though. Destroyed an entire family, his own. But it's okay. He got 2 ranks out of it. Keep pushing on this one. I'm telling you, it'll go nuclear. Don't go off into, you don't really, like, seriously, please stay away from that. I'm asking all the good people to stay away from the craziness. Not the craziness. I'm not saying even that doesn't exist. It is a fairly reasonable request that I'm making, though. Don't go into Masons and other things at this point in time. Why don't we just destroy their timeline, destroy their narrative, wreck it from the facts that they give us, which is very little, the witness testimony, the articles that have come out, the people that we know, the companies that are involved, etc., etc. Those things are very tangible and easy for everybody to hold on to, regardless of your stripe in life, right? If you go into other areas, it does something not so good, because then people start labeling. I don't want to get labeled. Already lost one person, very good person, to this. And that was not a good thing. So frankly, people that venture into those areas, I'd say set up your own server if you're interested in that. If you want to do it on my server, I'm going to kick you out. There's your warning. I'm not a censorship guy. I cannot lose people. I absolutely cannot afford to lose people. I need all the brains and all the power in my corner. And there is mountains here to destroy them with their own stuff. You don't need to go into the other areas at this point in time. Am I saying that they're not related or are related? I'm not saying one way or another. All that I'm saying is that they gave you enough to destroy them. Why not just use their own stuff on them? Right? Talk about tow trucks. Talk about and try and keep it as factual as possible. That reduces the amount of things that people have to go through, right? Which is respectful to other people. Speculating, that's okay. Again, Discord has lots of other servers to go and do that in. Go and set up a Mason RCMP server. There you go. That's great. Families don't want Mason stuff at this point. Families want to know why their loved ones died. That's what they want. And the RCMP, frankly, do want Mason stuff. That's very interesting. They like that because it helps them. And it does. Because then they say, well, look at those people. They're crazy. PSYOP, maybe? Stay away from it. Stay away from it. Anyway, very much appreciated all you guys joining. Thank you for your continued help, because once again, that story that came out today, who knew about that first? Do you think it was Global? Do you think Global knew about that story first? Or how many weeks ago do you think that we had already uncovered that? Did that help the families? Yeah, because they amended their lawsuit. Good job. Keep going. I appreciate all of your help. I really do. I know it's tough slug. It's tough. It's tough sledding. It is. People got families. People got lives. But in the long run, this is what has to be done. Has to be done. It's no longer we can trust these people to take care of themselves. They can't. They're a completely evil organization at the top. Evil in the sense of morality. Beyond corrupt. Very corrupt. You have to think about this stuff too, right? Because who's investigating the government? Anybody, any kind of government corruption? The same people, right? Do you think that plays a role in anything? Maybe. Just maybe. Take care, everybody. Have a good evening. Thank you very, very much for joining me once again. I appreciate all your support. Take care and God bless.